talking about more and more evidence is coming out about Epstein files and it's coming out on the Democrat Party. So let's go ahead and get into the video, shall we?
What's up, this squad? Back with another video. I seen the title was going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for me, please. I definitely apologize. I don't know if it's just because I woke up feeling, a little bad, but I'm not feeling, 100% right now. I had to get up early. Had my team. I told y'all that I coach basketball at my team. And it was a great game. For those who always, wonder and love to, that insight a little bit of my life. It was a really, really good game. They was actually down by a lot, more than I think 13-14 at the start of the third quarter, and still pulled away with a 5-point lead win. So it's definitely it was great. It was a great day. And then I took a nap when I got back home, and I literally felt like crap. Honestly, wasn't going to put out a video, but I was like, you know what? I know everybody, wants these videos. People be always asking, and saying when it's time, to drop, and they be like, and I have some people. I don't know what it is. I literally have some people that say that they haven't seen me in a while. They haven't seen my videos in a while. I don't know what's going on with YouTube itself or with my channel or what. But there's times that y'all are not receiving notifications that things are going. I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely wild, and I'm gonna try to look into it a little bit more. But it is pretty wild that is happening. Not only myself, but I'm pretty sure Retro Steph as well. But you already know. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. You got Caroline Levitt. This is back. Says Zohran Mamdani question. Said told immigrants in New York City that that they can stand up to ICE. And what would Trump do if there is resistance? Check it out what Caroline Levitt says here.
Mayor Zohran Mamdani put out a video recently telling immigrants in New York City they have the right to stand up to ICE. Are you concerned this will inspire New York City residents to resist ICE operations? And what will the Trump administration do if this happens?
The Trump administration is definitely concerned about the rise in violence, in attacks, and physical threats that we have seen against our brave men and women who wear the ICE uniform. Again, these are agents who are just simply doing their jobs. They are enforcing our nation's immigration laws, and we've seen more than a 1,000% increase in violent attacks on them and their families. They've been doxxed, they've been harassed, many of them have been physically assaulted and attacked.
Yeah.
So we condemn that wholeheartedly. I know the administration has done a lot to protect our ICE agents, and the president stands firmly behind them in conducting these enforcement operations. And there's a lot of talk from Democrat politicians in New York, but the Trump administration will continue to do our jobs in every state, and that's to remove illegal aliens and public safety threats from American communities.
Definitely. So one thing about it, I'm not gonna lie. You constantly see Mamdani, you see these individuals. Just like I put out a video about Mayor Fry last night, and it just goes to show you that these individuals will have a conversation with Trump, and literally, and Trump knows this. President Trump knows this. They'll literally talk to Trump and agree with President Trump. They would literally, be in a sense of agreement, talk as well, and then as soon as they leave, they start talking crazy. Oh, I said this to President Trump, and I mentioned it knowing that they didn't. Because if they did, we would have definitely known about it. This right here, you got Mayor Zohran Mamdani says he's filed a complaint with President Trump. He's filed a complaint, y'all. That ICE raids are cruel and inhumane. Check it out.
One of the big issues nationally is the question of ICE, what we've all seen happen in Minneapolis. But there's a big question about whether ICE is going to come to New York. And I'm curious about what kind of conversations you've been having with the president, with the administration about that possibility, and how you think you would be reacting to this.
I said to the president directly that these ICE raids are cruel and inhumane, and that they do nothing to actually serve the interests of public safety, and that public safety is of paramount importance to us. It's the cornerstone of an affordability agenda. But to use it as a justification to pull people out of their cars, out of their homes, out of their lives, it is completely contradictory to what New Yorkers are seeing and what Americans are seeing. And I think what we've seen is that there is a fear that has gripped hold of so many. And this is a fear that is without respect to anyone's documentation. A friend of mine the other day told me that if ICE was to come here at the kind of presence that we're seeing elsewhere, they wouldn't feel comfortable with their mother, a U.S. citizen, leaving the house because they wouldn't know if she would be profiled. That's how people are living.
Do you think ICE is coming to New York City?
We're going to do everything in our power to ensure that
What
what
does
we
that
see
mean?
elsewhere, we keep making the case directly to the president, directly to New Yorkers, to Americans. That
See, but this is what I don't get, and that's why he asked that question. What does that mean? Because, and that's why he's beating around the bush. What it means to them right now is the simple fact of Mamdani saying, "Okay, we're going to keep on saying that this is an issue. We're going to keep on complaining. We're going to keep on doing this." But in other words, in translation of what they're actually doing is inciting violence and wanting chaos in their cities. That's truly what that
we're
is.
going to do everything in our power to ensure that
What
what
does
we
that
see
mean?
elsewhere, we keep making the case directly to the president, directly to New Yorkers, to Americans, that these kinds of actions, they are the actions of a reckless agency that is operating with impunity, one that deserves to be abolished, frankly, and that they do nothing to actually serve public interest. The other thing I'd say is you have to prepare in advance. In the same way that with this snowstorm, the reason we're able to actually respond to it on the day of the storm is not because sanitation's there on the morning of.
Rephrase that. 14 people had already died. It was all you're prepared for the snowstorm. You have 14 dead bodies on your hand. Maybe many more by the end of this week. So how are you prepared for that when you couldn't even prepare for the storm? Back to the video.
It's because Friday morning they've brined all the highways and major roadways. Similarly, if we're talking about the prospect of ICE coming here, we have to ensure New Yorkers actually know their rights. New Yorkers know what it means.
I want
be
y'all
safe.
to listen to what he's saying right here.
Respond to it on the day of the storm is not because we prepare in advance. In the same way that with this snowstorm, the reason we're able to actually respond to it on the day of the storm is not because sanitation's there on the morning of. It's because Friday morning they've brined all the highways and major roadways. Similarly,
Y'all heard what he said, because we're gonna get into that. Don't worry. This is what frustrates me when it comes down to it is the lies. It's the lies to make him look good and make him sound good here, but then in reality, it's something completely different. Something completely different. But I'm glad y'all heard that. We don't get more into that though, so don't forget. Don't forget what he said about that snowstorm. Protesters take over Trump Tower, New York City, to protest ICE, and literally screaming, "How many more?" Check it out. How many more? Mind you, all of their poster signs said that they have been unalived in ICE custody. Mind you, where was all of this frustration, all of this, that, and the other when Obama had an individual? I truly don't get that. I truly don't.
Maxim Cheny. Now's the time. From Minnesota to Palestine. General strike. How many more have to die? How many more have to die?
That's it. I feel like it's definitely insane and it's definitely sad, and it actually makes me feel some type of way, especially with having kids. I'm not even gonna say having kids and daughters at that. Because I look at this picture, and it truly frustrates me, and it's sad, that you have these individuals that care so much. And by all means, human life is human life. I'm a child of God. I just look at the simple fact that these are innocent children. These are innocent children, y'all. And I truly just dislike the simple fact that you have these individuals that are in this Trump Tower. And this is what frustrates me. You have these individuals that's in this Trump Tower that are screaming and saying this and saying that. But then you have these individuals, this little girl. I mean, look how little these little girls, this little boy is. And just seeing this, it truly it's just sad. It's truly sad that these individuals have it to where they can come over, and are illegal and do the most when it comes to a lot. And then you have these individuals that are what? Going to school, children, in a park, wherever they are. And it just frustrates me. This is why this picture right here, and I'll continue to say on why I support ICE. And it's more. This is just some that I'm showing. This is why. I'm telling y'all. But one thing about it, not only that, there are major and many other problems that are going down, when it comes down to New York. This right here just shows you how much, all of this is trash. All of this is trash. It's sickening, nasty, and I don't understand like this is very unacceptable right here. Very, very unacceptable. It literally looks insane. This is trash on top of, snow that has been partially plowed. I'm telling y'all. Like said, this is trash on the side. These are obviously illegal aliens selling different things, fake things at that, to any and everybody that's walking past. I'm telling y'all. Right here is, again, more issues. Says the grim toll is now 13 New Yorkers who have been, alive from the cold in the past 2 weeks, partly because the mayor believed it was cruel to tear down regular homeless, and force them into shelters. Says Mayor Giuliani was labeled cruel for doing that, but he saved lives. And I would, obviously rather have them in shelters and things because it's definitely important. But then again, you have Mamdani. That's literally making everything worse. Literally. Not to mention, it's more and more things that has been coming out about this Mamdani. And it seems like, Requis, you're all over the place. Well, that's exactly what Mamdani in New York City reminds me of, is everything is all over the place. I'm not even gonna lie. That's breaking from the Epstein files. And I'm going to look more into this. But Zohran Mamdani's mother was named in the Epstein files, which is definitely pretty insane. There are others that, are, but stuff like this just doesn't just come out of the blue. There's more things deeply within this. I know it is. It says Mamdani's mother is in the Epstein files. An email casually mentions Myra, I'm pretty sure that's her name, Myra, or Mira, the filmmaker, and Mamdani's mother being filmed at a party at Maxwell's townhouse. It says same note mentions Bill Clinton and Jeff Bezos like it's a normal social update. So it's